So, Harmat, we're doing things a little bit out of order right now. I'm not going to do the intro. Instead, we're going to have a little discussion and then do the intro, and I'll cut it and paste it and do things with it.
Why?
But I need to have a discussion before I can do the intro.
Okay.
So, Harmat.
It's giving control freak, but okay.
It's always giving control freak. That's who we are, remember? We can't let go of our roots. So, tell me, who died in these chapters?
Okay. Give me a second. I need to... Okay. I know this. I just need to, say it. Okay, so in Catelyn's chapter... I'm gonna go backwards. So last we had Karstark, you know? Rob did that. And then we had the 7 people that were also kind of responsible with him. Like, they were for the same reason, so them, hung. And then we had, there was other deaths in the chapter too, now I'm forgetting.
Why were they hanged?
Oh, yes, because they killed, thank you, because they killed, Tion,
yeah.
Tion and, Kevin's son. Tion,
Frey and Willem Lannister.
Yes, thank you. So those people, and then there was, a squad, there was, 2 people who got in the way, 2 people who were,
right, 2
guarding the gates.
River Run guards. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was everything for Catelyn.
I think so too, other than, the hopes of Rob ever accomplishing anything.
Yeah, but I feel like those have been dead for a long time now. Okay, and then who was the second chapter?
Jaime.
Wait, no, give me a second. Hey, I would have gotten there. You're making me look bad by telling me. Okay, Jaime. What's his name? Give me a second. Don't tell me. Don't. I know his name. Cleos. That's his name. Cleos. And then, Is that everything?
What about Jaime himself?
We don't know, though.
Okay, what do you think happened with him then?
I don't know.
I mean, they couldn't have cut off his head because he screams. You can't scream if your head is cut off. I don't think, unless we've got those chicken reflexes somehow.
I don't think we have those for screaming.
So what? Why does he scream?
I don't know. It hurts.
Give me your best. So they pull him over to this table or something, and they're pin down his hands. And they pull out a big sword or an arak, I think.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was this might be stupid. Oh my god, this is a dumb guess. This is not legitimate, but I'm going to say it anyway. So
we're not going to use the word dumb, though. So
okay,
use a different word.
This guess makes no sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, you know how so they cut off his hair because Dothraki, when they defeat someone in battle.
Right, but he has a shaven head now.
I forgot about that. I was trying to make a joke. I thought I was funny.
It would have been good if you'd remembered the fact that he's
yeah,
bald.
they reference that all the time. I just always forget. Because in my mind, he has these luscious blonde locks.
Mm-hmm. So it's not his hair.
I don't know, they cut off his penis. I feel like that's something they would do.
Right, but there's no talk of them pulling down his pants or anything.
I don't know. I feel like
what
he's
do you know
dead.
about Margot Hote?
Oh, toes. Right?
Well, feet. He tends to cut off people's limbs. That's kind of the thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. I forgot about that. Yes. Okay, yeah, so they just cut off Jaime's feet, which that'll have interesting consequences.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead and spoil you. Just cause for the sake of my pun, okay? Just
Okay.
let me. They cut off his hand.
Both?
I won't specify.
Okay.
We'll leave that up for, you know.
The hand that he battles with. And that's the only thing he likes to do other than fucking Cersei. So that's really bad.
So now all he can do for fun is fuck Cersei. Yeah, okay. So spoilers, but I don't care because I need to do. So that was the reason that I delayed her intro. So now let's get into the intro.
Okay.
Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Storm of Swords, chapters 20 and 21, Catelyn and Jaime. In these chapters, you gotta hand it to Jaime Lannister for being able to talk his way out of tricky situations. Get it? Get it? Get it?
This poor man.
That was wasn't it good? That was one of the ones that I thought of like 3 years ago when I was like, I need to use that. And that's why I was so
funny.
dedicated to it that I'll spoil you to be able to use it.
That's so funny. I love that.
Also, do you mind going to our text and just like reading what I sent you in regards to these chapters?
They're short, but we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Read the exact thing.
Okay, wait. Give me a second. Oh my god. Okay, Nav said, these chapters are not as long as the last ones, but they're quite a handful in terms of content.
I love my puns. Oh, thank
Oh
you.
my-
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I know everybody's applauding right now.
Oh
I am
my
bowing in
God.
appreciation of your appreciation.
I can't.
Oh, I was so happy when I said that. I just giggled to myself for several minutes because I knew you had no idea. So it was
Well, obviously.
okay, cool. All right.
Imagine
now
if
that
imagine if I'd read the chapters at that point and I was like, oh my god.
right, but you still hadn't come to the conclusion about his hand, so
Okay, whatever.
you know.
That's
Okay. So now that I've lived my pun dreams, let's move on to the actual podcast. Yay. And since we're doing things all out of order anyway, how do you feel about reading some emails before we even get into the chapters?
I don't know if I like that.
Let's just do it. Come on.
I want to do it after. As
But
a
I don't wanna-
reward.
But I want to do it now.
Can we read some now and some after?
Okay, we have 3 emails in total. One of them is so short that it's 2 of them are very short. So maybe we'll do 2 short ones and then the long one at the end.
Okay.
All right. Okay, but you'll have to remind me to read the last one because I don't want to be like, oh, we already did that. Okay, so the first email. Hang on, let me get your face up here on my screen so I can see your reactions.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
scared.
So the first email is titled, What the Hell Am I Hearing? And it is sent from Depression Chamber. That's the email.
Okay.
It says, how can you suggest anything other than a full watch-along of the television series? You can't do this to us. We want you to cover every book, every TV episode, every bit and piece of the lore. If you won't do it, who will? Just cover 2 episodes of the show each podcast and keep the shit going until you review the final chapter of the final book. Come on!
I love that because we haven't gotten an email from this person before, so I love that discussion was what made this person like, no, I have to break my
Yeah.
I have to break
like,
my
honestly,
silence.
that's kind of been the general response is like,
Really?
we
Everyone's
don't
like,
care.
no.
Yeah, you gotta cover it no matter what. So
That's so funny.
I guess we gotta do it.
See, I think the thing is, everyone's saying that now. Let's check back in a couple of years and see how people are doing.
Or like check back in closer to whenever it's more like I don't think we'll be even close in a couple of years. And
true.
keep going until you review the final chapter of the final book. Like we can keep going, but what about George R. R. Martin? He's got to hold up his end of the bargain, you know.
True.
So yeah, I thought that was a great email. Hopefully, Depression Chamber, we don't want to put you in a further depression because trust us, we know that sucks. But we're not going to write it off right now. We'll keep checking in, and when that's like a legitimate question of what we're doing next, we can check back in. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Making plans for something 10 years into the future. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, now the other email is titled GOT Book 2, Haley. So, hi Nevin Harmouth. First of all, the way you both say Tywin cracks me up because there's emphasis on Tywin.
Oh.
Cracks me up anyway. I think so we say Tywin, people say Tywin, or I don't know. I think I sometimes like kind of.
How does the show or
I don't know. It's like such a little difference that I don't remember. I think they probably say Tywin. Now I'm like Tywin.
Yeah, but
I think for us it's like we start saying ta and then we are like Rian when like we like fill in the blank later.
True. That's so true.
So anyway, I'm sure
I feel like if you go through the episodes, you can probably find like a few instances of me saying Tywin instead of Tyrion or Tyrion instead of Tywin. It's just a daily thing.
A few, for sure. So, Haley continues. Anyway, I'm sure you'll read this much later than I'm sending it. I'm still on Clash of Kings, currently listening to your chapter 27, 28, 29 coverage, and I have never related to Harmouth more. She is so, not in a rude way, clueless sometimes about things we should already know, and I relate so much. I watch the show, so I'm a little aware of who everyone is, but sometimes it's hard. And I just love when she gets a little confused because it makes me feel better about myself. LOL. I love your podcast. So I hope to catch up to you one day. Keep doing a great job. Can't wait to hear more. Haley. And then in brackets it says, big fan.
Aww, thank you, Haley. I feel like it's like every time as we get more and more into these chapters, I'm like, I need an organizational method outside of my brain because this is not working. All of these characters, it took me like twice as long to read these chapters. Yeah, but like the thing is, the spreadsheet for these books would be so confusing but like connected, and I just don't know how to format that because it can't just be like a normal spreadsheet.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of. I try to make sure that we always talk about the relevant things, but you do have a tendency to forget the relevant, like even if I brought it up multiple times.
No, yeah, that's the thing. We're reading an information dense series, and I am not reading it very slowly, girly.
So that by the time, like, when did we start? Like, when did the first episode for this book come out?
I have no idea.
October 19th, 2022.
Yeah.
How many months ago was that?
That was a few months ago.
Almost like 6 months ago.
No.
Yeah.
No,
we're in March
it was
now.
4 months ago. It was 4 months ago.
November, December, January, February, March. Okay, it's like 5 months ago.
March does not count. We just got into March.
Right, but we recorded this before, like a couple weeks before. Okay, whatever.
We just got into March.
Yeah, so like we're doing it like at a very slow pace, and it's a lot. So, yeah, at least there's other people who feel the way you feel. So there you go.
Yay.
I mean, I feel that too. I just, unfortunately, it takes up so much space in my brain that that I have an easier time of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you for your email, Haley. Hopefully you catch up because Haley won't read this until they get to this episode, which is a little bit of a ways away for them.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's cool.
Okay, well, Haley, hi from future us.
Thanks for this email. It made us very happy.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you get to this episode, write us another email referencing how we read this email.
Oh my god,
that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're just in a never-ending loop. I love that.
So we don't want to read the last email?
No.
Actually,
let's just do it. We already started.
Okay.
Whatever.
See, that was my evil plan all along. I knew you would cave in.
Whatever.
All right. So this email is titled Hello, and it is from Karen. So Karen says, Dear Navin Harmith, I am a longtime listener of your podcast and first-time emailer, and maybe future Discord member. We'll see if I get around to it.
Oh my god.
We hope you do.
Do it.
I've listened to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium since the first book, and I've loved hearing your reactions the whole way through. As a hopeful future novelist myself, I love hearing.
Cool.
I love
Can you finish the series for George R. R. Martin? Since he clearly won't.
I love hearing the reactions to people reading books for the first time. I'm a huge fan of the books, having read them through several times, although unfortunately, since I watched the show first, I was spoiled on mostly everything. Oh, yeah, I feel that. Since then, I've read everything to do with the series, including all the Dunk and Egg stories, Fire and Blood, the lore books, the Lands of Ice and Fire, which contain huge maps of the whole world, and even the deleted/released chapters, which I don't know if I've read any of the deleted chapters, but I've definitely read all the released chapters from book 6, and those are so good. Like, they're almost better. I was reading the whole series, right? And I reread book 5, and I was like, okay, whatever, book 5, right? And then I read those chapters, and I was like, oh my god, book 6. Like, I like those like few chapters that are like pre-released of book 6 almost more than a lot of book 5. So
that's funny.
Okay, where was I? Karen continues, I've also watched the first season of House of the Dragon. That's like the new series, and I loved it. Although I personally love Fire and Blood. I love that book too. I do understand how others could not, since it is basically a history book about a fictional place. Most people only read history books when they have to for school. So yeah, it makes sense, but I'm a history buff, so it like scratched my, history buff itch.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the audiobook, and that narrator is really good too.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it. Anyway, if people want to read more about the Targaryen dynasty but find Fire and Blood dry and intimidating, I would suggest the newly released The Rise of the Dragon. I'm almost finished with it right now, and it's basically an abridged version of all the information inside Fire and Blood, but with really nice art in full color. That sounds cool. Maybe I'll get around to it someday.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they keep releasing, like, the same story, like, the Targaryen story in like all these different ways. Because first I feel like The World of Ice and Fire came out, which is like, it's got all sorts of problems with it, but George R. R. Martin didn't write all of it. He had like co-writers, and the co-writers are a mess, but he wrote the Targaryen section, and that was like the section that everybody loved. And then he turned that Targaryen section into Fire and Blood, and everybody loved it. And then he's now abridging that for the show, and it's just like, dude, just write the 6th book. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, he sounds like he's doing too much for someone who's supposed to just be finishing this one novel, or 3 novels.
Mm-hmm. He really is.
So that's why he's not. See, I didn't realize he was involved with all these side projects. I just assumed, I don't know, he's just like,
this isn't even
writer's
all of
block.
The side projects, though. If I started listing them, you would be like, how does this dude have time to eat?
He doesn't, so that he doesn't have time to write. That's why nothing's getting done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Anyway, but we won't go into that. So, anyway, I don't have anything really to ask, but I've been wanting to email you two for a while and have never gotten around to it. Your podcast has helped me a lot of. Your podcast has helped me a lot of my darkest days. Hearing your cheerful voices, laughter, and banter reminds me that there is a lot of joy to experience in life, even when I'm feeling the worst about the world and my place in it. I wanted to thank you for that. Oh, that's so nice, Karen. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you so
Sometimes,
much. I'm
like,
gonna cry.
we can be also in like weird spaces, and then we come and like record about this book series that like and then we complain about it, but we love it, but we complain about it, and it also helps us. So, and it honestly, emails like yours help us so much more than you would think, right?
No, the emails are like, oh my god, there's real people. Like I look at this, I look at the stats every week, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like these are numbers. Like that to me, that's a game. I'm like, oh, however many downloads. But then when you get the email, I'm like, that's a person. You know,
true.
So it really matters.
Yeah, it's not just numbers on a screen.
Yeah, it's not,
and it makes us want to keep going, because sometimes I'm like this, like we barely have time to do anything, and then like this obligation comes up and we're like, oh my god, we have to record. And then I read an email like this and I'm like, oh my god, we get to record.
Yeah, totally. It's weird trying to be full-time students and like almost working full-time, like 20 both jobs. Of us. Yeah, like that's I mean, yeah, we're doing our best to keep honestly up. No, literally, we're literally like I don't know how we're doing it, but we are. But yeah,
I think
like this
we pay in a bit of that to mental health and sleep points, but
that's okay. It's fine.
But this is one of the things that's like one of the few things that I can just be like, yeah, this is a good thing in my life,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the other things like have good times and bad times, but this is mostly good times.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your email. I feel like the last few weeks, like me and Nav have just both had like a horrendous few weeks. Well, not a few. I mean, vacation was nice, but like this last week, I think we've had
quite a week.
We've had a week.
Last night. Okay, nice. So we're recording this like on a Sunday morning, and we got together like we usually record Saturday evenings, and we started last night, and then we just sat down, and I was like, you want to mad?
Hear something that makes you mad? And I was already mad, so I needed stuff to make me more mad.
So we went off for several hours. I don't even know how many hours we talked.
I think we talked for like 5 hours and then went to sleep, and then it was like, okay, there's no way we're recording. Like now we're fuming and dying and sad. So we were like, we'll record in the morning.
Yeah, so and here we are.
And I have like 4 midterms this week, so that was a great decision.
It's okay. We're full of great decisions.
Okay.
Okay, so hang on. That's not the end of Karen's email.
Oh no, we keep interrupting.
Sorry, no, that's okay. So this part, she says, also, Nav only. Is your favorite character blank? Because he's mine. And Karen, yes, blank is my favorite character. Because this is like from like several... a long time ago when I was like, remember, if I told you my favorite characters, you would never believe it.
I remember this conversation, because then I tried to get it out of you off the podcast, and you were like,
I was like, what?
You were being annoying.
I thought I was a cat all of a sudden. Okay, so... And then she sends it off. Thank you, Karen, she, her. Thank you, Karen. And I appreciate that you included your pronouns, because that's cool. Then I know how I should refer to you. And such a fantastic email. And honestly, all of these emails were fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Send us more of them.
Wait, I don't think all 3 of these people have emailed before.
Yeah, 3 new people. Oh my god.
That's so cool. And, okay, well, you know what your guys' next step is? Joining the Discord. And then
you really never miss that opportunity.
I don't. And if you join the Discord, you can answer the weekly questions of the week. You can join in on the spoilers chat if you really want to do that. Even though I wouldn't recommend it, but go off. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I would recommend it. I would totally recommend it. I think this week Leah answered your question of the week and then went into the spoilers, and it was like, here's more spoiler context for this.
Oh my god, that's funny.
So those are some of my favorite moments.
Okay, gatekeeping.
You know what? Yes, I am gatekeeping in this case, and I will defend it.
Oh my god.
We just love to revel in your misery. It's just
channel keeping. Channel keeping.
Okay, all right. See, that wasn't that a good start? Because now we are like happy about this instead of tired.
True.
I mean, we're still probably tired.
We were miserable like an hour ago.
So, okay, we did the who died. We did the intro. I guess we're on to the summary now.
Well, we still need to do
maybe since we're messing up the format. Let's do the summary after we talk about the chapters, and then it'll refresh your memory.
I feel like that's boring because the stress of the summary is what makes it purposeful.
Fine.
You know,
if you insist.
I just think that one day when I get around to compiling the summaries, I want them to all have the same energy.
Okay, got it. So. Ready then?
No, never mind. Why did I say this? Why do I like to dig myself graves? Anyway, sure. I'm so ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Karstark and 7 people kill Tion and other dude, and then Robb is like, you betrayed me, and then they're on trial, and they all get killed, but Karstark, he's like, do I kill, do I not? Brendan's like, all the Karstarks left. Robb's like, I must do what I have to do, even though this is gonna screw over all of my alliances, whatever. Frey's not responding. Lysa's not responding. It's going terribly. There's no hope. Robb has a mental breakdown. Jane's like, how do I help? He's been crying, or not crying,
Switch.
but, like, he's been emotionally unavailable. Jaime, okay, arrows encountered, kill Frey. Jaime, Brienne fight for like hours and hours, cause noise. She's better than he thinks she is. The freaking goats people show up, and then like they take them, and then they're like, we're gonna rape Brienne, and then they cut off Jaime's Vargo cuts off Jaime's hand, and Jaime tries to bribe everyone the entire time, and it doesn't work. I feel like those were pretty good summaries.
Those were pretty good summaries.
I feel like I'm not usually that put together.
Maybe we should have like long conversations, like half an hour into. We should do this half an hour into each episode.
I don't know if that's what it is. I think these chapters just like they had a continuous like thing going on. Because sometimes I think what happens is like, especially like if we go back to like Arya or Sansa chapters, or especially Catelyn chapters, because actually, wait, this is a Catelyn chapter, but this was a different format of Catelyn chapter, because usually there are a lot of like, because usually they're like thinking about something, and then they go do something, and then they start thinking again, and my toxic trait is that I try to summarize the thinking when I should just summarize the doing, and then get to the thinking if I have time, but there's
a lot of doing in this.
So it was easy to be like, this is what they did. There wasn't a lot of Catelyn thinking, so it was good.
Yeah. We don't want her thinking. That's not her
women
job.
Thinking? No, thank you. I am not a feminist. That's a joke.
Okay, let's reset. So we did the summary. We did all of that. So I guess the next step is to dive into the next.
But we didn't talk about like, hey Harmit, how do you feel about these shows? Like, we need to go back to our vibe.
Sorry.
And you didn't say, wait, you never said welcome back everyone. Or like any of that.
Okay, hang on.
Because how are you going to cut? Do you know what I mean? You need to say that.
I was going to like leave it into, I don't know.
But that's okay.
Why am I creating so much work for myself?
But no matter what you do, you need to say it. Even if you don't cut it in, you know?
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Even though you've been here for half an hour. Yeah, exactly. Yes. But you weren't welcome before. You're only welcome now. Before this, you were intruding. Now you're like invited guests.
That's funny.
Okay, so how did you feel about these chapters, Harmit?
They were good. I enjoyed them. They were fun. But like, I don't know. I feel like you're a lot more passionate about these chapters than I am. Like, I just kind of read them and I was like, yeah, you know?
I don't know. They're cool. I like them.
No, they were cool, but I'm just saying, like, you seemed very into them. So how come?
I was very into the pun I was going to make for them.
Oh, okay. See, that makes a lot of sense. That makes sense.
It was such a good pun, though. Okay. All right.
Gotta hand it to you for that one.
You can't use the same pun. You gotta come up with, there's so many different variations you can use.
Whatever. Don't make fun of my pun game.
I will do that if I want to do that. Okay.
I know you will.
Okay, so now can we get into the chapters?
I think we can actually legitimately talk about the chapters now.
Okay, let's do this real quick. Like, there's only certain things of importance, and we'll like pause, but in between, I'm just gonna like summarize and like go real quick. Okay.
I'm gonna remind you of this when you start talking about the blood.
Okay, whatever. Fuck. Fine, you can do that, but I will do it. I don't do it. I'm trying. Okay, so Catelyn. It starts off with, they carried the corpses in upon the shoulders and laid them beneath the dais. And it's an intense start to a chapter. Really sets the mood. And the wind is howling, and Grey Wind is like howling, and
she thinks she's looking down at Bran and Rickon, and it's like, she's like, does Robb see this too? But obviously, even if he does, he can't really express that. He kind of has to be king in that moment. He's wearing his crown, even though it's like the middle of the night. He like remembered to get it because it's important.
So they've been woken in the middle of the night and just kind of pulled from their beds to deal with this horrendous thing. Which is that the squires Tion Frey and Willem Lannister, who were their hostages, have been killed. And killed by Rickon Karstark and his people. And they bring them in, and it's and there's like 8 of them, or like there were 8 of them, and a couple of them got killed or something. And Robb's just like, it took 8 of you to kill 2 unarmed kids. Like, what the fuck, people? And this is like, when we find out that they killed a couple of the guards as well to get to them.
Rip, Delp, and Elwood.
What were you gonna say?
I feel like this entire chapter was just like, who's a friend, who's a foe? And I feel like it started right off the bat with like Catelyn just being like, the captives and the captors, like everyone looks the same except some of them have weapons and some of them don't. And it was just like, this entire chapter was just like, is it betrayal? Is it not? You know, it was like, that was kind of like the ongoing thing the entire time. And I was like, I don't like this. Robb needs more allies, not less.
Yeah. So Karstark is like, in defense of like killing those River Run guards, any man who steps between a father and his vengeance asks for death. And Catelyn's just already feeling really guilty. She's like, it's me. These 2 boys died, so my daughters might live.
It's me. Hi. I have a problem. It's me. Sorry, continue.
And Robb's like, your kids died honorably on a battlefield with swords in their hands. And you murdered these children in their beds in the middle of the night, and they were unarmed, not like in battle, nothing. Like, and Karstark is like, well, my kids died, so like they died too. Like, it's the same thing.
No. Like, what did this accomplish? Why are you burning down these bridges? Like, you need, like, just stop. The only, like...
people are always like, women are so emotional. What about this dude? Like, how can... This is the most emotional action that anybody has taken in these books. Okay, that might be, like, a really hard stance.
Not
but, like,
the emotional, but, yeah.
You know?
It's a significant emotional stance that has been taken, yes.
Yeah, like, and it's just... this makes me hate this dude.
And, like, the only legitimate, like, the only thing where I kind of am like, I see your perspective is him being like, okay, like, Catelyn didn't have consequences for her actions.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, he needs to understand that, like, yes, I understand that, like, kind of looking onward, like, I would say, I think, I obviously, I don't think that Robb should, like, kill his mom over that, because obviously her intentions weren't, like, that's unnecessary violence, and I wouldn't call it treason because she, like, it wasn't intended as treason. You know, but like I would say that
Well,
she should
when
have
she was
had.
doing it, like even afterwards, she was like, "That was treason. You gotta lock me up."
Yeah, but like I don't know if I agree with that. Because to me treason, it needs to be like, there needs to be an intention for, like, because treason is like you're betraying your side, but she's not doing it to help Jaime. She's trying to still support her side. Like, that's where her intentions lie.
Yeah, like even Karstark, like he's like, how can it be treason to kill Lannisters when it is not treason to free them?
Yeah.
And didn't
But
your
I just
father
feel
teach
like-
you that, boy? And the Great John is like irked by that, and like,
yeah, they're like, he's like ready to fight. He's like, let's go. But I just
he
feel
is
like,
ride or die.
No, literally. But I feel like it's like, I don't know if it would have helped if Rob would have done something, like maybe some sort of consequence just to like
Catelyn,
set that standard, just so it's kind of like, it's not like people are just like going, because now in this instance he really had to set the standard to make up for that instance where he didn't, because if he'd done the same, you know, like it almost forced his hand to make this harsher sentence. That's possibly that could end up being a bad decision because less allies, you know. So it's like I wish he'd done something. Yeah, okay. Fewer allies.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I don't actually care. But every time I correct you on less and fewer, there's a very specific reason, and it's a spoiler, so I won't say it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That I'm okay with. Because I'm like,
not because I'm like grammar police. Like, I don't believe in that. That is such a classist way of like looking at things. But
that's 100%.
I know that every time I correct your less with fewer, somebody like smiles to themselves. So I'm just like adding to that.
That's fair. Because otherwise, that's rude. But that makes sense. That I can respect. Do I say that often? Is that a thing?
Not all. Like occasionally,
say?
It comes. It's one of those like. I don't know.
I think that's just one of those things that I like never learned. And now like it's one of those things that I learned in my adult life, so it just hasn't set in yet.
Yeah, but it's like in common speech, we don't actually like care, you know? Like speech develops.
That's true, but like I know, but like I'm very much like everything has to be perfect. So I'd like to say it like
okay.
You know, whatever. Anyway, we're getting caught on this.
Yes.
But yeah, I wish he'd
done about details.
I wish he'd done something so we could have potentially had
right, but he himself had just fucked up, so he couldn't even punish her a little bit for any of it. So yeah, she should have been punished, not killed, but punished.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
And now it's like giving people like Karstark you didn't do it with her, so you can't do anything to me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he means to give me a scolding before he forgives me. That's how he deals with treason, our king in the north. Or should I call you the king who lost the north? Which
oh, you cannot just say that to your king.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this guy, he knows he's about to die, and he's just like putting it all out there.
All of these things that we've been dealing with for the last few months, we're like, this is gonna add up. It's all happening here, and it's really sad.
Yeah. So Rob tells the Great John to hang the rest of the people and hold Karstark until he gets back. He's gonna go to like a separate space and just like talk it out with his mom and uncle and the Blackfish. And as he's about to leave, one of the ones that he just condemned to their death, sentenced to death, is like, oh, but I was just the watcher, like I didn't do anything. And then Rob's like, oh, did you know what they were doing and did you not stop them? And he's like, well, I knew, but I only watched. And Rob's like, okay, Lord Humber, this guy, he was the watcher, hang him last so he can watch the others die.
That was funny.
Like I am not for capital punishment or anything, but yeah.
But it was a nice little, like, yeah.
You know what? Like, just because you watched, you like, that is, and you let it happen. You what?
I said he bystood, and then I was like, that's not a word.
But he didn't, like, he wasn't just a bystander. Like, he was an active participant.
Yeah.
He, like, watched
He could have gone in and actually done stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was, like, a good statement. Like, just because you didn't actually stab these kids doesn't mean that you weren't responsible for their death.
Yep.
So, yeah. And then there's this, like, in Catelyn's head, outside, the thunder crashed and boomed so loud it sounded as if the castle were coming down about their ears. Is this the sound of a kingdom falling?
That
Catelyn
was a
wondered.
Nice little moment.
Yeah, but she's so dramatic
in a bad
too.
way. Hey, I feel like this is if there's any moment where Catelyn can be dramatic, I'd give this to her.
Oh, I know. I'm
really
not like
losing on
begrudging
every
her
front.
like the dramaticism, but I'm just like, that was so dramatic.
This is the sound of a kingdom falling.
Yeah. So they go back to like the audience chamber where they can like not chill, but like nobody's chilling in this place. But like,
other than Edmure, who cannot read a room apparently.
Yeah, he like sits down, and then like when he realizes nobody else is sitting,
yeah,
he sits down, and then when he realizes nobody else is sitting, he gets back up, and it's just like,
this man cannot.
So the blackfish starts the conversation with the Karstarks are gone, and it was hang on, what were the numbers? 300 riders and twice as many mounts melted away in the night. And Rob's like, are they gonna like reform? And the Blackfish has like interrogated people and stuff and like gotten information out of them. So their plan is to scatter across the Riverlands and look for the Kingslayer. And yeah. And Lord Karstark has sworn to give the hand of his maiden daughter to any man highborn or low who brings him the head of the Kingslayer. Which I'm like, why does your daughter gotta pay for this? Yeah. Yeah, just like using her as like a reward. This is so gross, but I had to comment on it. We know how it goes, but still, Okay, so Rob has lost another good chunk of his army. Yay!
Mm-hmm.
And we find out.
Love this. By the end, it'll be like Rob and Catelyn and Jane standing in a little corner with swords in their hands.
Oh my god!
Everyone else is just gone.
No. Okay, hang on. No. So they're. Edmure is like, well, we got to keep this a secret. Like, we can't have the Lannisters find out because who knows what he'll do if Tywin finds out. And obviously Catelyn's just like, oh my god, they're gonna kill Sansa. But Rob is like, well, I can't do that. As soon as like those Karstarks left, they're gonna spread this tale and everybody's gonna know, and I can't be a liar. Yeah. And we find out a little bit about like who these kids were. Willem was Sir Kevin's son, so I guess what's his name?
Was that the one that we were looking for?
No, that is Tyrek Lannister's. Tyrek Lannister or Tyrek Lannister's son. One of those. Okay. Willem is Lancel Lannister's brother. Right. Lancel's the one that Cersei was having sex with.
Right.
And then Tion is Lady Jenna's son, and Lady Jenna is Tywin's sister. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Tion is Cleos' brother.
Yes, yeah, and he's a Frey, so now they've got another reason that they've pissed off the Freys.
Lovely.
Yep.
Okay, but like that one, like, will he really notice? I'm joking. Like, he's got a lot.
See, like if it's still like an offense on his like honor, so he's gonna care about that more than the kid itself.
I know.
Kid himself.
I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping.
Yeah. Okay, and then they're talking about like, oh my god, there's like a whole bunch of Karstarks with Roose Bolton as well. Who knows what they'll do when they find out, and like Roose Bolton has to be warned to like keep an eye on them. Yeah. And Karstark's kid, heir, is also at Harrenhal. Mm-hmm. And Rob's like, oh yeah, his name's Harrion. I better know the name of my enemies, don't you think? And the Blackfish is like, oh, are you sure he'll be your enemy? Maybe he'll thank you for killing his dad. And Rob's like, well, even if he doesn't like his dad, he can't ever openly forgive me because then his own men would turn on him. These are Northmen, Uncle. The North remembers. So there's that. Yep. Just, you know.
See, what I don't understand, they make a lot of reference to, like, North and, like, the Northern values, whatever. I feel like I'm confused about this because in my mind it was like, I think that I've confused the North and Ned so much that I'm thinking, like, do you know what I mean? In my mind, I'm like, for Ned, it's like, what's right? And and if it was right, like, because technically Rob got betrayed by his own man, so then wouldn't you be on Rob's side? Like, do you know what I mean? So I think I'm just confused about all that.
Right, but like all the others, like Umber and whoever, like they're on Rob's side because they see that he's in the right. But Karstark, who has to like uphold, like if Ned had been like killed, like which he was, Rob just can't be like, oh, Joffrey, no worries, like, you know.
But if it was for a legitimate reason, but
it is true that the North as a whole is different, has different values than Ned. Because we've kind of talked about this, how like Ned's values actually kind of align with the Aaron's values, because that's where he grew up with Jon Arryn.
Right.
So like what we think of as the Stark values are really just Ned values. Because even his brother or father weren't like that.
So like what are the differences?
I don't, like, there's a lot more like honor and like righteousness kind of with Ned and his, like, with Rob and Jon and everybody. Yeah. Whereas with the North, it's kind of like, I don't know, like they hold on to grudges kind of thing. Like the North remembers, you know, that's literally what that means.
And they're all like cold and like unwavering.
Yeah. Like they would be willing to let go of honor for the sake of a grudge kind of thing.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, and I don't feel like, oh no, hang on, I was gonna be like, Ned doesn't hold grudges, and then I'm remembering all the stuff he said about the Lannisters.
He's like, 10 years ago I walked in on Jaime sitting on the throne as a joke.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're like, okay, hold him as a hostage, and he's like, no, we can't do that, I gotta kill him. We've heard nothing from Sir Roderick, who, remember, died. They don't know yet. They still don't know.
This was like a book ago. Like, come on.
Walder Frey has only heard... Wait, no response from Walder Frey in terms of their new offer, which, what do you think that is?
I don't like that.
But, like, well, what do you think their offer was?
Oh, I don't know. I think we talked about this and I was like, I don't know.
Come on, give me a guess.
I don't know. Because, like, they can't they already gave, like, an amazing proposal. How do you get better than that?
What's the amazing proposal?
Like, marry the king and then, like, be the king's squire.
Right.
And, like, all these
so they
things.
can't get that. But what's the second best thing that they could offer?
I don't know. Like...
I know you don't know, but, like...
They could offer, like...
If you were Rob, what would you offer?
Like a lordship? Or, like... But they're already lords. I would offer them, like, Harrenhal or something. Like, something, like something else. I don't know.
Okay.
But they said it was a person. I don't know. Because they're, like, Rob's losing
not what,
people.
Who, so.
Rob's losing people. Who does Rob have to offer? He could offer, like, Arya again. Like, I don't know. Sansa, because that relationship's gone.
Two people he doesn't actually have in
I don't know. He doesn't have anyone.
Okay, all right. And they've also not heard anything from the Eyrie, to which Catelyn is like, yeah, don't expect that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And Rob's like, well, I'm not even asking her to like actively participate. I just want her to let me through and give me some ships so that I can go to the north. And
boy, that is actively participating. Mm-hmm. And this is concerning because Pattaya, so whatever.
Okay, expand, please.
Okay, because I was like, oh my god, but like she's gonna be on Pattaya's side. But I think it's fine because if it's like, okay, it's bad because now the Lannisters are gonna have all those like resources to be able to use like that strip of like ocean or whatever. But then it's fine because Lysa wasn't gonna help them in the first place. Like it's not like they're counting on this. So, but it was just like another like, oh, they're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
as per usual.
They're literally surrounded by enemies. Yeah. And Rob goes off on this like monologue. Like
Rob is having a mental breakdown, and it's
why would
sad.
Any man ever want to be king? When everyone was shouting "King in the North, King in the North," I told myself, swore to myself, that I would be a good king, as honorable as father, strong, just, loyal to my friends, and brave when I face my enemies. Now I can't even tell one from the other. How did it all get so confused?
This was so sad.
I have to kill my ally for killing my enemies. Like, and it's not like the Lannisters are going to be like, oh, thank you for like taking revenge, but like, also our kids are still dead, so screw you.
This monologue was really sad.
Yeah. And Rob's like, nope, there's no other way about it. He has to die. I know what I said. It does not change what I must do. Mm-hmm. Rickard Karstark killed more than a Frey and a Lannister. He killed my honor. Because he killed these kids unarmed, asleep. Just like, sorry. This makes me so frustrated.
This is just murder.
Like, so far, like, people, like, Rob has messed up with, like, not marrying the Frey bit, but everybody else around us has messed up so many times and just, like, in so many bad ways. Like, Catelyn let go of Jaime, which, you know, like, in his eyes is a mess up. Edmure like fucked up his plan to lure Tywin and like have him surrounded.
Yep.
Now the Karstarks are like.
The only person who hasn't let us down is Brynden.
Yes.
Blackfish. Mm-hmm. This is the only useful man.
The real MVP of Rob's army.
No, literally. Like.
Okay, hang on. Rob also fucked up on the Theon bit.
Yes.
Not saying that he's like flawless, but like.
People aren't helping him. He could be doing his thing if they weren't fucking up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I shall deal with him at dawn, and they gather at dawn in front of the heart tree in the Godswood. And Rob's like, I gotta do it. This is my work. He dies at my word. He must die by my hand, which, you know, Ned. Mm-hmm. And Karstark's like, okay, that's cool that you're gonna kill me. For that much I'm grateful, but for naught else. And he goes on about like how we are kin, Karstark, and even Catelyn's like, yeah, the Karstarks like descended from Carlin Stark, like a younger Stark who gained his own holding after putting down a rebellion. And the castle he built was named Carl's Hold, but then it became Carhold, and the Carhold Starks became Karstarks. And Karstark's like, old gods are new, it makes no matter. No man isn't so accursed as the kinslayer. Because he's like, we're kin and you're killing me, and now you are cursed. Mm-hmm. So, yay.
Yay.
Do you think he's actually cursed? Do you think this will have any real repercussions? Or also, okay, they're kin, but they're like so like in that way, like anybody, like everybody on Earth is related, kind of kin almost.
No, literally, and like I just feel like it's not like things have been going great for Rob. Like, how could they get worse? Is kind of my question. So
okay, let's play out that scenario.
No,
what could get worse for Rob?
Let's not. What could get worse for Rob? Jane dies. He doesn't have an heir.
Mm-hmm.
His mom
but then
dies.
he's free to marry a Frey.
They're not gonna want him now, because he's losing all his now. Like it's looking like he's gonna lose. And
okay. All right, Jade dies, and then his mom dies, you said?
His mom dies, so literally zero emotional support is left. And then Great John leaves, because Great John has been one of his, and then people
Why would he leave?
I don't know. People start, because he's like, you're gonna lose, like, whatever. And then Great John, and then, like, all the people kind of start getting mad at him about everything that he did wrong, and they're like, Rah! And he goes to try and capture the North, and that doesn't work, because the Freys won't partner with him again, and then he gets trapped between his enemy, and then he gets captured and taken down to, and then he gets captured, and he gets put on trial, and then he gets murdered, and then they don't take him back to the crypts.
Wow. Okay. That is quite a grim outlook.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope it doesn't happen.
And then they find Arya again, and they kill Arya, and then Sansa is married to Tyrion, but then they're like, oh, we actually need to marry Tyrion to someone else, so let's just kill Sansa,
they kill
because
all
there's
the
no
Starks.
Because there's no Starks to partner with. I mean, I guess technically we still have Bran and Rickon, so maybe once they grow up, they can pull a Dany and try to,
Well, there's also Jon.
Oh, yeah, but, he's off at the wall. What's he gonna do?
Still,
He exists.
Didn't want you to forget your homeboy.
I'm good.
Okay, let's hope none of that happens. So, Rob has
In your head, you're like, how did you get it so spot on?
Rob has to, he kills Karstark, he executes him as he must, and, Karstark's last words are, kill me and be cursed. You are no king of mine.
I really think that in 90% of situations, communication is the issue. Whether it's in life or whether it's in Game of Thrones, communication is the issue. And I wish that Karstark would have just been like, hey, in private. I know that in public he tried to be all annoying and be like, punish her, that was him, right? But I wish that he'd gone to Rob with his concerns in private and been like, this is unfair, I really think that you should, because he does listen to their counsel. We know that Rob legitimately listens to them, as far as we know.
Yeah.
He's not like Tywin, where everything's predetermined and he's not going to listen to anyone.
It's just I really think such a lack of emotional intelligence.
I know, but I just wish that
this dude needs therapy, and instead of booking an appointment, he just let it simmer. I'm not saying that you will commit treason. I'm just saying therapy is helpful.
Nav is calling me out right now, if any of you can't tell. I'm not saying that you'll commit treason. I just think therapy's helpful. Oh no. That's funny.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Whatever. Okay. I don't have time for therapy.
Okay.
I got battles to fight, rebellions to lead, I gotta get my own whispering wood on the map,
Okay. All right. Back to this fictitious world. Oh, look at me using fictitious. Sorry.
What? It's giving just learned a new vocab word and tried to use it.
No, because I was going to say fictional, but for some reason my brain said fictitious, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with that.
Wow.
Watch it be not a totally different meaning.
No, it's the same.
I know it is, but when you think you sound smart, but
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Blah blah blah. Okay, so after all that is done, Catelyn goes to see her dad, and
He
he is
did.
still dying, and the maester's like,
No,
"Oh,
but now
he
he's
can't."
like dying, like he's really getting there.
Right. The maester's like, "He is a fighter, but this battle he cannot win. It's time he lay down his sword and shield. Time to yield." And Catelyn's like, "Oh, are you talking about my dad or my son?" And the maester leaves or whatever, and she's still hanging out there. Finally, in the evening, Jane comes to see her. And there's this like, "Oh my god, your grace, no, call me Jane, but call me," like all of those things.
Formalities, of course.
Uh-huh. And Jane's like, "Okay, well, our dude Rob, he's so miserable and I don't know what to do. And I told him to use a headsman because that makes it easier." And Catelyn's like, "Yeah, but my husband taught his sons that killing should never be easy." And
she's like, "He's not eating. He wrote a letter all morning."
Yeah,
and he
spent all morning writing a letter, told me not to disturb him, but when the letter was done, he burned it. I'm like, I want to see that letter.
Yeah.
That might be like the only like glimpse we get into his like internal thoughts,
No, literally. And then now he's looking at maps, and Jane's trying to like communicate with him and like all that, and he's just like not. He's just sitting there, and then...
So just tell me what to do. And Catelyn's like, "Oh, it's a northern thing. Like, you just gotta be patient, let him work it out, and just be there when he's ready."
This speech was really cute. I was like, "Aw, it's giving North."
It's giving North.
Like, it was just like, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Part of his soul was in that tree, I knew. A part I would never share.
Yeah, and you just gotta be cool with that.
And that was really, like, it was just really sweet. It was like, yeah, you can, like, be there for people, and, like, you can, like, support someone and still not, like, understand, and that's okay. You just gotta, like, do your best. And it was just really, it was really warm.
Our Lady Catelyn, she sure has some of that emotional intelligence that Karstark was lacking.
Yeah, but she still makes bad decisions.
I know, but like, who doesn't make bad decisions,
And I don't know. I wouldn't defend her that much. She has a lot of fuck ups.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't want to get into it. So, yeah, and then Jane's like, "Okay, cool, I'll be patient." And then she gets up to leave, and Catelyn's like, "Oh, by the way, there is this other thing you could do, like
that's
in true
really
mother-in-law
important.
fashion. You can give him an heir. Like, he doesn't know, he may not know he needs it, but he totally needs an heir." And this is like such a, gross, like it's fine. It's fine. Like, I get it, but it's such, like, people nowadays say things like this too. And it's just like, what? Yeah. No, go away. But Jane is totally cool with it. And she's like, "Oh, my mother says the same." And she makes like a posset for me, herbs and milk and ale to help make me fertile.
With ale?
Yeah, I drink it every morning. And I told Rob I'm sure to give him twins, an Eddard and a Brandon.
Oh my god.
And then she gets a little TMI. We try most every day, sometimes twice or more.
Oh my god. You could have just said we're trying.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Catelyn's like, "Good job. I'll add my prayers to yours."
Oh
and Catelyn's like thinking to herself, like, "Oh, Eddard and Brandon, those are good names." And then to her dad, she's like, "Oh, maybe a Hoster, And
you don't want an Edmure?
She ends the chapter with, "The girl did seem to have a good heart, just as Rob had said, and good hips, which might be more important."
Oh my god, she always thinks that's so funny.
Catelyn and her hip obsession.
Oh my god. No, it's like every time she sees a young girl that's like not her child, well, she would probably think this around her kids too. We just have never seen her around her kids. This is so sad.
Yeah.
But like with Brienne, and now with Jane, like and then like even with like the girl at the Vale before, like she's just
Maya
very,
Stone.
like, she's just very like, oh, you're ugly. No one would ever have
She's
sex
just
with you.
always assessing their like marriage and kid prospects.
Yeah.
And I get that that's what she's trained to do, and it's an important skill to have because, like, you know, you got to worry about lineages and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it just, like, to our modern sensibilities seems weird.
Yeah.
To say the least. Okay. So predictions. So the Karstarks, like, they're for sure lost. They're never returning back to the Stark cause.
I really don't think so.
Okay. What's Karstark's kid and army at Harrenhal gonna do in response to this, and how is Bolton gonna deal with that?
Okay. This concerns me because, as we know, Harrenhal is very easy to take, and there's like never enough people to guard it.
Yeah.
And what also concerns me is that Vargo Hoat has Jaime. And if Vargo Hoat takes Jaime to Bolton, and over by Bolton are the Karstarks and, like, what's his name? The dude with the H?
Harren Karstark?
Harren, yeah, whatever his name is. Like, Harren is there. Like, I just feel like they could easily, like, kill Jaime or something. And then, like, Tywin's not going to forgive that. Yeah. So there's that prospect where things could get worse. But part of me also thinks that that's not going to happen now because of the development with, like, Jaime's hand. I feel like we'll really see that play out with, like, him being unable to fight, being miserable, and then seeing how Tywin handles that, because seeing how he treats his, like, short son, like, and now how is he, like, you know, he's not gonna be able to look upon Jaime, and I just want to see Tywin suffer in that way because he's terrible and he deserves.
Okay, so now that Jaime has a disability, you think Tywin won't value him as much?
Yes, because he's a terrible person. So
right, sorry, just clarifying.
Yeah.
I did zone out a little bit. No, not because of you, just because of me.
No, it's okay. I did say a lot of things without saying nothing at all. That was a good summary, though. So yeah, I think that. And then, yeah, like, I just feel like George R. R. Martin is gonna explore that, and I want him to explore that. So then that involves Jaime not dying. So then that involves something else happening. Let's see. Because that was my theory. I was like, oh, like, they're gonna fucking at least try to kill him, even if they're not successful. So, because the thing is, like, their allegiance is to the north, right? And they're obviously never gonna be like, oh, let me betray Robb and go to Lannisters, because they left Robb because of the Lannisters, you know? So that's not a plan for them. Like, I just wonder, like, so their sole mission is to find Jaime and kill him? Like, do you know what I mean? Or is there, like, because then there's no one else who's, like, north adjacent. You know? Like, who are they gonna, what are they? Are they unclaimed territory for, like, Stannis or something? But he's so far, like, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. Karstark probably knew as soon as he did this that he was gonna die, so he was just like, go do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. His son might try to be, like, you know how all these sons, like Bolton's bastards and stuff, try to rebel and, like, create their own, you know, missions? So his son might try to do that and be like, oh, we're powered by opposing Lannister, but really I just want power, you know? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, though. Lots of speculation. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. Is Jane gonna get pregnant?
I really hope so. We need a win. We need a win. I hope those hips really come in handy. Like, those. Hope those hips don't lie. Like, please.
Yeah.
I think you made that joke before.
Yeah. It's a good joke. Come on. Okay. Let's. Okay. So Frey's, like, any developments there, good or bad?
I want to be hopeful. And hopefully the Freys take the deal. Hopefully the deal's so good that the Freys are like, you know what? We'll take it. Even though they just killed one of their people.
Yeah.
And made things worse. No, because the thing is, like, without the Freys, like, there's legitimately no other option. So it's like, we need the Freys to work.
Like, it has to work out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And, Catelyn's dad, Hoster Tully, is he just gonna be hanging around like this?
No, he did.
Oh, he's, like, gonna die soon?
Oh, yeah.
He's not gonna have, like, a revival and, like, say something really important just before he dies or something?
No, I don't think so.
Just playing out all the movie scenarios, okay? Okay. What are Catelyn and Robb gonna do? Are they gonna find out that Jaime has been captured by the Bloody Mummers?
Ooh,
because the Bloody Mummers presumably will be taking him back to Harrenhal, which is a northern hold right now, right?
Mm-hmm. I think they... That just feels too good to be true. You know what I mean? So, because I don't know, I don't really trust Bolton, so Bolton might keep it from them and keep him as, like, his own hostage.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about Jaime, because we're, like, veering into Jaime territory now. So, they've been riding, you know, just moving along, and now they're at Maidenpool, which is the stage for the story of, like, Florian and Jonquil, and there's, like, the pool for which it is named, where Jonquil saw... Wait, no, hey, who saw who? Hang on. Where Florian the Fool had first glimpsed Jonquil bathing with her sisters. Not at all a creep.
It's romantic.
And they're passing by, and the town is, like, pretty destroyed. Although Lord Mootons, like, who the lord of the area, his castle is still standing, and his flag's still flying above it, but, like, it's all shut down, and there's, like, nobody coming in and out. There's some, like, stray dogs around. And freaking Jaime starts singing real loud as to attract attention. And Brienne is just, like, not having it. And even Cleos is like, dude, shut up. And he's like, besides, like, who knows who's hiding out? There might be enemies hiding in the rubble. And Jaime's like, yeah, but her enemies might be our friends. So, like, maybe we should try it out anyway. And there's more of, like, the, okay, just, like, unchain me, and I promise I'll be on good behavior, wench, and Brienne, my name is Brienne, and, like, all, like, just, like, the weird back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
It's not important. So finally, no, not finally. So he's, like, in his head, and he's like, oh, Brienne, care for a bath? I'll scrub your back. And then he's like, he used to scrub Cersei's back when they were children at Castle Rock.
Can he go 2 seconds? Like, come on.
Nope. Because he's like, oh, I could never bear to be long apart from my sister. Even as children, they would creep into each other's beds and sleep with their arms intertwined. And one time, their mother's servant found them in some sort of state that he doesn't even, like, remember exactly, but reported it to their mom, who in turn separated them and, like, put them at either ends of the castle and told them to never do it again. But it didn't matter because she died real soon, so who cares?
But, like,
and so this was, like, before Tyrion was even born, so they were, like, 3 or 4 years old or something.
Yeah. And I just think I feel like it just makes me think even further that Tywin knew, because what excuse would there be for moving their, like, rooms like that, you know? Even though I know she said, like, oh, I'd have no choice but to tell him, but I don't think she had to tell him.
Right. But they're, like, so young, like,
Yeah, like, I'm sure he dismissed it, obviously. Like, clearly he didn't do anything about it. But I still think that, like, he knows. Like, there's just too much here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. So then he starts being like, oh, honestly, I should be thanking Stannis and the Starks for spreading that tale about our incest.
Oh my god. This
now
man
I
is
have
going
nothing left to
mode.
hide.
You know,
why shouldn't I marry Cersei openly and share her bed every night? The dragons always married their sisters. And sure, it would play havoc with Joffrey's claim to the crown. But in the end, it had been swords that had won the Iron Throne for Robert. And swords could keep Joffrey there as well. With this,
okay, delusional.
Hang on. Also, we could marry him to Marcella once we've sent Sansa back to her mother. Like, he's just like, okay, we're just gonna keep this incestuous thing going.
Yeah, he's really like, I want to be a Targaryen. He's really fangirly. Like, this is so, like, I feel like at this
like,
point,
Cersei would never agree to this.
This is so delusional. I don't think that I have heard anything more delusional than this. And it's like, I think of myself as a delusional person, and I'm judging him. So that tells you something about how delusional this is. Like, come on.
Yeah, he is really kidding himself.
Like, he's really, you know, I don't know. Something's going on there.
But he has decided that he's going to return Sansa and Arya if she's around. Because everybody expected him to betray.
Wait, does he know? Was he there when Arya wasn't there? This question is sort of irrelevant, but so for what am I trying to say? Oh, okay. So he was there when Arya escaped, right? Just to clarify.
No, he had injured Ned and then fled the city and then joined with his dad to like fight the battles.
But obviously he heard about it because they were like, oh, we let go of Arya by accident.
I don't think he did, honestly. Like, it's just that nobody knows where Arya is.
No, but he says the younger girl if she could be found.
Because even Tywin didn't know that Cersei didn't have Arya until Tywin got to, like, Tyrion got to King's Landing. That's when he found out that Arya wasn't around.
So then how did Jaime find out?
Just because, like, there have been talks about how, like, there's been no news of Arya and things like that.
Okay. But yeah, no, that's so funny that he's like, I'm gonna keep this promise because it entertains me that people don't think I'm going to. And this has really given me more insight into Jaime than anything else.
No, but I think he's like, he actually wants to keep faith, but he's just saying that this is the reason.
I don't know.
I think he's deluding himself because he actually wants to like keep faith, but he can't just be like, oh, I want to be honorable now. He's like, I'll show him. Like, he's just like saying it.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Because I feel like, yeah, like
it's mostly just like a headcanon.
Nah, that's fair. Because I just think that, like, I feel like his thing is just always how can people entertain him and occupy him. Like, he's like, wow, Brienne's not like other girls. This is so entertaining.
I think that's like a coping thing. That's how he copes with the world.
He's just like, wow, this is so entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I feel like then this is still him coping with the... Like, I just feel like, just more than anything, he's like, this is entertaining. He's like, just everything that he enjoys, he's like, oh, this is so fun. I don't have to think about things. I can just fight. You know, I don't have to think about things. I can just fuck. Like, I just feel like that's just him. Anyway, Jaime's interesting is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Because he has weird, like, he doesn't really have morals. He just kind of has things that he likes to do and then things that he doesn't want to do because he's not into that.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Let's move on. Mm-hmm. So they're riding and they've passed through Maiden Pool, and all of a sudden he hears arrows being shot at them, and he tells everybody to go down and like all of that, and Cleos's horse gets shot, and then Cleos gets dragged behind the horse because his foot gets caught in the stirrups or something. And Brienne takes a couple arrows, and Jaime, does he? I think
has,
his
like, one
horse.
arrow or
I think
something.
his horse takes an arrow, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's really not looking good. And he like turns around and charges at the archers because he knows like how to deal with archers, which is to like charge right at them because once they're in close proximity, they can't do anything. And he's just like, Brienne better follow me because this is a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And she does. But she stops short of like actually chasing the archers and killing them because she's just like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So he like goes up to Cleos and is like, okay, his horse is in better condition, so I'll take that, and I'll also take his armor and clothing, and I'll take his sword. And Brienne's just like, but he was your cousin. He literally just died, dude. And Jaime's like, oh, who cares? I am amply provisioned in cousins. Like,
oh my god.
What?
Jaime really doesn't care about anything but Cersei. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he wants to take Cleos' sword, and Brienne is like, no fucking way. And is telling him to step away from Cleos. Mm-hmm. But he just like reaches for the sword, slides it out of the scabbard, and goes right to attacking her. But she's already seen this coming and pulls out her own blade, and they start fighting. Yeah. And it goes on and on and on. And like at first, like Jaime kind of has the upper hand, and Brienne's just like on the defense because she doesn't actually want to harm him. Mm-hmm. And it just like goes on for a while. It might have been minutes or it might have been hours. Time slept when swords woke.
This man is so passionate about fighting.
Yeah. And then he's just, they're going at it, and then she gets the upper hand and is beating him down. But then like it kind of like switched back and forth multiple times. And at first he's like wench, and then he's like, oh, this is pretty good for a wench, pretty good for a squire. And then, like,
I was like, wow, she got upgraded. Like,
yeah, he's like, oh my god, she's stronger than me. Like, and I've met other people who are stronger than me, but a woman, how can it be?
He was like, oh, and then he, instead of being like, wow, she's really good, he's like, oh, it's because I've been locked up for a year. Mm-hmm. I lost my skills are rusty. I'm out of practice. I'm like, okay, you can just admit that she's literally iconic. Like, yeah, she's crushing Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, and there's this, at one point, he's thinking his long sword grew heavier with every blow, and Jaime knew he was not swinging it as quickly as he had done earlier, nor raising it as high. Now, you probably don't remember this, but in book 1, when Bronn fights that knight in the Eyrie, there's like a very similar description of like how the fight goes. Yeah. Because that knight is also like very heavily armored, so like he gets tired really quickly. Yeah. And I was like, like George R.R. Martin uses this kind of description more than once, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for it. So this is me keeping an eye out for it. Wow. Okay, cool. Moving on for the details.
References from 2 years ago.
Yeah. So she's telling him to throw down the sword and yield, and finally she does kick the sword away from him and is like, I will yield or I will drown you. And he's like, no, you won't.
This is so frustrating because she can't do anything until he just gives in because she can't kill him.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. And she's just like frustrated and like throws him down. And that's when they hear the woods ringing with coarse laughter.
Oh my god.
And they are surrounded by all these people. And Jaime can tell by like their kind of mix and match bunch of people that it's the Brave Companions, aka the Bloody Mummers. Mm-hmm. And Brienne's like, oh, I have money, I'll pay you, and let us be on our way. And this guy who we learn his name, what's his name? Is this Rorge who's talking at first? Yeah. Yeah, the guy with the lack of a nose. So Rorge. Yeah. Rorge is making a comeback because,
oh my god, didn't have enough of him in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's like, yeah, we'll take that, and we'll rape you, and we might kill you, and all of that stuff. And then Jaime's like, okay, who's in charge here? And it's this dude named Urswick the Faithful. Just, what an appropriate name for.
I can't.
Yeah. So, yeah, they know immediately who he is. Who Jaime is like, oh, I have that honor of leading here, Sir Jaime, and I'm Urswick. And Jaime's like, oh, you know whom? It's me. And they're like, yeah, your bald head and beard doesn't deceive us. We're smart. And Jaime at this point is still under the impression that they're working for his dad. And he's like, my dad will pay good money for me. Just like, be cool. And that's when they're like, actually, we serve the king in the north now. And we were based out of Harrenhal. And Lord Vargo is he would be so excited to see you, basically. So he's been promised Harrenhal, apparently. So maybe that's why they can't give it to the Freys.
But did like Bolton just promise him Harrenhal, which doesn't really mean anything, or did Robb actually promise him Harrenhal, which would mean something?
I don't know. I feel like Bolton definitely did, but like Robb's not there, so
yeah, but like Bolton can't just give people designations.
Yeah, but like we've kind of learned, like Harrenhal is like promised to literally everybody. Yes. Like everybody has claim on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, nobody really does.
Yeah.
So
Arya has claim on Harrenhal for real.
Yeah, she is the ghost of Harrenhal. So they're just like going. Jaime learns that they had turned cloaks, and he's like, wow, you people are terrible, and they're not happy about that. And Brienne's like trying to be like, Catelyn sent me, like I'm on an official business, just like be cool. And I think at some point Jaime's even like, oh yeah, just like break away from Margot, take us to the capital, and then like we'll pay you and you can have all that reward money. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to go to Margot. But they're like, okay, shut up, we're taking you with us. And they get tied up and taken, and Jaime's just like mad at Brienne. He's like, if you armed me, we would have been fine.
Okay, and if you hadn't fought with me for hours, we also would have been fine, but
yeah,
come on.
And then he's like, oh, by the way, you're totally gonna be raped tonight, and you'd be wise not to resist. And
thanks,
Brienne
Jaime.
is like, oh, is that what you would do if you were a woman? And he's like, I would make them kill me, but I'm not a woman, so ha ha. Which, Jaime. But at this point, has he like talked about how like she's from the Sapphire Isle?
Not
he
yet.
tells them
he's like
she's from the Sapphire
Isle.
And she's worth a lot of money, so they better not harm her. And Brienne's like, well, it's called the Sapphire Isle because of the waters, not because we're rich. And he's like, shh.
He's like, Brienne, literally, stop.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, hang on.
And then Jaime's still like, I'm gonna get you a royal pardon, and he's like, I don't buy it.
Yeah. And are you such a fool as to think that the goat can outfight the lion? And Urswick then leans over. Urswick leaned over and slapped him lazily across the face. The sheer casual insolence of it was worse than the blow itself. He does not fear me, Jaime realized with a chill. And that's like...
Damn.
That must be like a moment for Jaime, because he's lived his life just being like, I'm so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get taken to Vargo Hoat. And Brienne is like, oh, again, I'm Brienne of Tarth. I'm here sent by Catelyn. Just let me take Jaime to his brother in King's Landing. And Vargo Hoat is not listening, and he gets George to like take Brienne away and tie her up or something. And Jaime like is brought to the front, and he looks around, and at the moment he's like, I could potentially grab one of these swords and like go for it, but in the end I would definitely die. And he thinks Jaime was not ready to die just yet, and certainly not for the likes of Brienne of Tarth, which Jaime,
come on,
like why does he just like say just I was not ready to die yet? Why does he have to add the for the likes of Brienne of Tarth? You know? And then Vargo Hoat, we learn a new detail about him, which is that he has a chain of like linked coins about his neck that's of all the places that he has fought. So that was interesting.
I wish Arya would have used her ghost wish on Vargo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of people she could have used it on. But I think at the time we kind of like stood with her, like we understood her decisions, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jaime's like, hey, money, all the money you can have if you let me go. And he's like, oh yes, I will have half the gold in Castle Rock, but first I must send him a message. Send Tywin a message. Or Tywin a message. And this is when Urzik shoves him, and there's like a jester, and they like have him kneel on the ground, and they grab his arms out in front of him, and the Dothraki guy pulls out his huge curved auroch, and Jaime's like, they just want to scare me. They want me to beg for mercy. I'm not gonna tell them that. He was a Lannister of Castle Rock, Lord Commander of the King's Guard. No sellsword would make him scream. Sunlight ran silver along the edge of the auroch as it came shivering down, almost too fast to see, and Jaime screamed.
I almost feel bad. I do feel bad for him, because, like, fighting and fucking are the only things he cares about, you know? Like, I legitimately feel bad for him.
Yeah, and nobody deserves to be...
And I just feel like, especially with, like, Bran and, like, losing his legs, like, we've already seen so much of, like, how he was treated, and I just feel like...
This is not no world that I have experienced is a world
good
that
place
is...
for a person with a disability. However, this world is really, like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad, but maybe it'll make him more, I don't know, maybe all I can hope for, because this is a terrible circumstance, and it sucks for Jaime, and it sucks for, like, you know, like, now, like, he can't fight, which would probably be one of his biggest contributions to the war and everything that's going on. But it's like, wait, wasn't Tywin gonna marry someone to Jaime? Or, like, there was some sort of proposal there, right? Because when he was like, Cersei has to marry
Jaime is, oh wait, hang on,
because now he's no longer a Kingsguard, right? And there was like a proposal there.
Isn't he no longer a Kingsguard? He's still a Kingsguard.
Is he? I thought he was just Lord Commander now.
I think when Tyrion was like, I want my claim to Castle Rock, Tywin was like, I'm gonna figure that out and have Jaime be freed of his vows.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't remember, like, if there was, like, a specific plan to marry him to someone.
Okay. I mean, eventually there must be, because...
Do you think he can still continue to be in the, like, even though he hasn't been in King's Landing for a while, but can he be, like, continue to be a Kingsguard if he doesn't have a hand that he can fight with?
I don't think so.
Okay, no Lord Commander no more, I guess.
I mean, does the Lord Commander have to fight?
I don't know.
Okay, let's think. There's two circumstances. There's the Tywin circumstance where, like, he's gonna be relieved of his duties. Tywin's not gonna have a Lord Commander who can't fight, because Tywin is prejudiced like that. However,
now every time you say Tywin, I'm like, Tywin.
However, I do think that in an alternate circumstance where Tywin wasn't as terrible as he is, I think that there, like, I don't think the Lord Commander has to fight. Do you know what I mean? I think that Jaime could do that job, but also I think that Jaime is very much the fighter type, so maybe Jaime specifically couldn't do that job. You know?
Right, okay.
But yeah, like, either way, it just complicates things, but
So where does he go from here? Like, what are they gonna do with him?
I have no idea. Maybe he...
Just give me a guess.
He, like, oversees battles.
No, I mean, like, immediately after
like, what's he doing? Oh, yes,
yeah.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, he has to make it out of here for Tywin to do something and, like, put him in a position. Okay, yeah, so I think that they're taking him... Vargo's taking him to Bolton. Vargo's gonna send the hand to Tywin. And then be like, hey, here's my message for you. And then he's gonna... a little dark. And then I think he'll take him to... See, because... Like... Is Vargo gonna take him to Bolton? Or is he just gonna...
I don't know.
Or is he just gonna try and get it? Okay. He's either gonna, send the hand off and try and get, Jaime to himself. Or he'll take him to Bolton, and then Bolton's gonna try and keep Jaime for himself. I think that either way, Rob's not gonna hear about this right away.
Okay.
I think that
What about Brienne? Will she be okay?
I have no idea, because her being okay kind of counts on her ransom and, like, all that. And if that isn't a thing, Brienne will probably escape, though.
Okay. Alright, let's hope for that, then.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other predictions in here right now that I can think of. So let's move on to next chapters, unless you have anything else to add.
I think that's everything.
Okay. So, next time, you got your notebook or something?
Mm-hmm.
Next time, we're going to read 2 chapters. Chapters 22 and 23. Give me your hopes and predictions.
We have not seen Bran in ages.
Yeah.
Let's say Bran and Dany.
Okay. Chapter 22 is Bran's sister Arya.
What? Bran's?
Bran's
oh, you
sister.
tried to say Bran. See, because I didn't hear you, it didn't make it as effective. I heard Rand's sister Arya. I was like, Bran? Who's running? I mean, Arya is always running.
Yeah, so Arya was with the dudes that captured her, remember? And she was like, last time she tried to run away, and they were like, that's not happening, haha.
And then they were like, she was like, Harwin, I thought you were on my side. And he was like, nah, bro, I'm a king's man now. So
what are they gonna do?
They're gonna take her to the person, like, who was it?
Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah, they're gonna take her to Beric. We're gonna learn about that. And, like, Beric.
Okay. And, okay, I'm cool with that. Chapter 23 is Daenerys.
Dany. I was right. Kind of.
So last time she was on a ship and pondering kind of like next steps, I think, right? It's been a while since we've seen her.
I have fully forgotten that. Have we seen her in this book?
She was on a ship and Jorah kissed her.
Oh yeah, that was gross. Oh yeah.
Right.
Jorah was like, oh yeah, don't trust these people you're on the ship with.
Yeah, go get your own army and also marry me.
Yeah, I guess they'll be traveling. We'll learn more what's going on there.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Let's wrap it up. I am so hungry. Like, my stomach is just like... Yeah, okay. So that's what we have in stock next week. Since we already did all of our reading emails and stuff before, I guess we can just wrap it up. Everybody, join our Discord. And also email us. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at popculturesymposium. Okay, so at the end of this episode, we have a special treat for you because one of our listeners, Ola, created a polka version of our theme song. He titled it "A Polka of Ice and Fire," which is fantastic, and it's great. And so listen to that, and until the next episode, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.